Yeah, hi everyone. It's Andy McDowell here from Perform Plus, and our interview series. And today, I'm very fortunate to have Neil Cresswell here, who is the CEO and co-founder of Portainer, based here in Auckland, New Zealand. Welcome, Neil. Great to meet you and have you on the series.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, well, look, we'll kick straight into it. What inspired you into business leadership, Neil? And was there an initial spark that led you into this direction?
So I never thought I'd be in business leadership. I've got to be honest. I'm an engineer who fell into business leadership. Um, so yeah, this is now my third business, I think. Looking back, and yeah, for me. Am I a naturally trained and experienced business leader? Absolutely not. Am I someone who can see problems and can figure out solutions to problems? Absolutely. Is building a business just a problem to be solved? Absolutely. Um, am I the world's best HR manager and internal management coach? Absolutely not. Do I know what good looks like and how to get things done? Absolutely. So for me, what drove me to be a business leader, the desire to actually have my own company be successful and to scale it, and then that was sheer necessity, is how I would put that.
Oh, interesting. Um, so in terms of misconceptions about running a business or leading a business or even owning a business, um, what do you think in that space and sort of how do you address them?
So there's two ways to run a business, right? You can run a business to be a lifestyle business. And I think New Zealand is famous for the three Bs, the BMW, the boat, and the beach house. And many New Zealand-based founders are incredibly happy at starting and running a business to get them those three Vs. That is not me. I wanted to build a business to take on the world, and yeah, from day one, Portainer has been a business that sells globally. And so
Wow.
I'm only happy when I'm out trying to change the norm and
Mm,
disrupt standard practices. So yeah, for me, it's not a lifestyle business. It's my life business.
mm,
And so there's either of those two dynamics. Like a
mm.
lifestyle business can be quite relaxed. But one of the biggest misconceptions I think is if you're not building a lifestyle business, don't expect much of an actual lifestyle to begin with. It's a lot of hard work, hard graft,
Blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah.
blood,
Um,
sweat, and tears. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So that's really interesting. It leads well into the next question about, work-life balance. I think a lot of people talk about it. Given, your journey as a business owner, how do you manage that? Do you have any personal sort of rituals or habits that keep you? Doesn't sound like motivation's a problem for you, but keep you focused.
Um, I think every founder has ups and downs. Like yeah, building and running a business is definitely like being on a roller coaster. Absolutely. You have good days, you have bad days. Um, Sometimes things go wrong inside the business, and it causes inner turmoil and stress. How do I solve that? I go out and speak to customers. Our customers I find incredibly refreshing. They are very happy to talk to me about our product and how much value they get from our product.
Mm,
And so on those dark days when everything's going wrong, when there's bugs being reported about the product, when there's issues in engineering, when there's issues in marketing, whatever's going on, then I'll take a day and I'll go try and do as many customer phone calls as I can, and the customer's like, oh, your product's amazing, look at this, and so you're like, oh, okay, cool. And so it kind of gives me energy again to fight to fight another day. So
yeah, sure.
that's ideal with that piece.
Yeah. Okay. And obviously obviously your business seems incredibly innovative. In that constantly changing business landscape, how do you make sure one, you adapt, I guess two, you're open to change. Are there any sort of strategies that you use within your business or businesses to remain innovative?
So again, the difference between lifestyle business and a business looking to change the world, right? I am naturally inquisitive.
Yeah.
I want to know why. Yeah, as a child, my parents must have hated me for asking why all the time. But I actually wanted to know why. Um, and so for me, I'm always if I'm reading, I'm not reading a book. I'm reading the latest technical information about some cool new piece of software that's coming to the market, and
Mm,
or I'm reading blogs about how people have problems that we could potentially solve, or I'm reading blogs about how people are solving problems that we do to see
mm,
is there a better way for us to achieve things. So when I'm not working, I'm learning because learning makes me better at making a better company. Um, as you build a company, as you scale, of course you hire good people around you, but that doesn't mean that you can just let go of everything. You
mm.
still have to have your finger on the pulse in regards to your market and marketing, and in my case, engineering and other things as well. So,
Sure.
the day that a CEO could just hire a bunch of people and then just wash their hands of it and say, right, I've got a team now. I'm gonna slowly degrade myself. Um, yeah, that's not me. And so the way that I stay at least remotely pointy to think about the actual sharp end of the stick there is by reading a lot, by consuming a lot of content in the community. I read a lot of information about our product, what people are saying about it. So just reading, learning, and playing. I have a lab at home full of computer hardware, and I just experiment. Um, so the work is long hours, and then education to keep myself sharp is also long hours.
Mm. Cool. Um, given that sort of innovation, if you like, or the way that you work, do you have any, or could you give us a glimpse? You obviously got plans. You're very, very, very well planned for future for your business and any goals. What do you envisage the next chapter of your entrepreneurial journey to be?
So whenever you build a business, you always have to build a business for the exit in mind, right? Otherwise, you're just building for an
Sure.
unknown future. And
Yeah.
so I always saw Fortainer as a product that would eventually be bought up and absorbed by a very, very large enterprise who saw the value of our customers, saw the value that we could bring to their organization, and simply turn us into this enablement layer. And then so across the life of the business, you start to make decisions and you do certain things. You form partnerships with companies who might be your eventual acquirer. You create features and capabilities in your product that would be attractive to eventual acquirers, and so you do this on purpose as you're going through that journey. I couldn't imagine just building a business and then just hoping that someone buys me in the future. You need to try and think towards it. Of course, the other option is to build a business to list on the stock exchange or do other
Mm,
things.
mm,
Um, as a tech company, I think almost everyone has an exit in mind.
mm.
Do I think I could go back to ever being an employee? I don't think any manager would want me. I've been out self-employed doing my own thing for so long
Yeah.
now. I am incredibly opinionated, and if I see a problem, I must absolutely find a solution. I can't just say, someone else's problem, I'll move on. Absolutely
Yeah.
not. I'd be a nightmare to manage. So I think for the rest of my career, as long as that may be, I'll have to be solving problems, changing the world, and doing something crazy and harebrained somewhere.
Yeah. I love that. That's great. One of my favorite questions is around, advice and given your entrepreneurial success and your very your ambitious plans, if you like, or future, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who are just right in those early days of starting their own journey and facing those early challenges? No doubt you had a few.
Yeah, I mean, we had a bunch of early challenges. One of the early challenges is how the heck are you going to fund the thing? Yeah, building a
Yeah.
business costs money. It costs a lot more money and takes a lot more time than you could have possibly have ever imagined. If
Mm,
there's a whole new trend at the moment called like vibe coding, where you can use AI to build your new thing, and There's this
mm,
whole thing about how soon will we get the first $100 million, like one person company.
mm,
Who knows? But all I know is that there is a lot of work to be done when you build a business. You can't delegate that work until you're far later in the business.
mm,
There's no point going and hiring a head of marketing if you don't know what you're selling, the value of what you're selling, and how to sell it, or how to market it, and message it. You as the founder have to come up with all of the stories to how do I explain the value of my product? From a marketing perspective, you need to give the almost sales playbooks to your sales staff before you hire sales staff. If you don't know how to sell it, if you don't know how to market it, if you don't know how to explain the points of difference, if you don't have the elevator pitch down, then hiring prematurely is just a waste of time and a waste of money. The founder has to do a lot of heavy lifting for a much longer than you can possibly imagine, until you've got everything down pat, well understood, and then once that's done, then you start scaling and hiring people, not before. We fell into the trap of following the Silicon Valley build mantra, where we just hired a bunch of people on the hope that those people would help me figure it out.
right,
Yeah, but I still, as a founder, have to figure it out and then give them the information. These
mm,
guys, as good as they are, can't come up with a marketing strategy if they don't understand the core reason for being for the product and the core value statement. So,
mm,
as a founder, expect to be doing everything for a lot longer, and therefore be prepared to either bootstrap your own personal life for a much longer period of time, or bootstrap your personal life and the business for a much longer period of time, until you got yourself rock solid.
I think that's fantastic advice, and yeah, there's certainly a reality in that if you're considering that entrepreneurial journey, eh? Mm.
Yeah,
Look,
and there's so many more, like around that whole thing, right? That's
mm,
it's very easy to get a kind of proof of concept or an MVP product, and then you go out to your close network, people who like you and trust you, and say, hey, what do you think about my product? No one's going to call your baby ugly. They're going to say it's amazing. And so you fall into a false sense of security around this amazing thing you built. And so then you say, okay, right, we're time to scale it. And or you use your founder network to make your first couple of sales, and you think, oh, right, I've
yeah,
got this, I've cracked it. And until you're making sales out of your network, you aren't making sales. People are actually doing you a favor. You need to make sales completely out of your network, make
mm,
sure they're repeatable, then you have something that you're ready to scale. So there's a whole
mm,
bunch of stuff like this.
mm. No, that's fantastic, Neil. Look, thank you so much for your time. Um, yeah, it's been really invaluable, and those insights I know will stand the entrepreneurs and audience listening in good stead. So thank you again. It's been great to meet you, and awesome to hear about your journey.
All good. Appreciate it.
Thank you.